Well, we've been married for how many years now? It'll be 15 in August.
14 in August.
14 in August. And when we first got married, we thought, oh, we're going to wait to have kids. You want to have everything in place. You don't want to have a child when you don't have enough resources to give them and all of that. So we wanted to wait, and we waited, not knowing that.
And then we eventually found out that there's never a good time and you never have everything in place.
Yes, definitely. So we waited, and then I turned 34, 35, and I realized, oh, well, let's make sure that everything's ready to go. So I go to a gynecologist to make sure that I was ready to have babies, if I wanted to have babies. And of course, when we went to the gynecologist, she said, oh, you're aging fast. 35 is old. And, you don't think 35 is old when you're 35. And so I told Miguel, we need to start cracking on this because...
Yes.
The doctor says I'm old. So anyway, so we decided, okay, let's start having babies. So we tried on our own for a while. And I did get pregnant, but it was a blighted ova, and I was about 10 to 12 weeks with the blighted ova.
Yes.
And then we had a DNC.
And then they told us there was nothing developing.
Yeah.
And it had to come out because it was going to be bad for you.
Right.
So, despite all our reservations, we went ahead and did the
DNC.
Well, you took medication first,
right?
And then they had to do
the
dilation,
DNC.
curettage, DNC.
Yeah. And for me, a blighted ovum, I didn't even know that existed. So I was like, what is a blighted ovum? So that was weird. So, but it was the jump start to our fertility journey, right? Because after that, we were told by the gynecologist to go to a fertility specialist. She gave us the name of Fertility Centers of Illinois. Of course, we thought that was more of a commercial thing. So
we weren't comfortable with that, so we went with somebody else.
We heard that they were, treated people like numbers, so we thought we'd find a private fertility specialist. So we found...
And we were referred to someone by a friend of yours.
Right. And
we spent about 4 or 5 years working with him.
Mm-hmm.
4 intrauterine inseminations, eventually 1 in vitro fertilization, ton of mixed emotions, and then we switched from that because we kept hearing that our faith told us not to do that anymore, so we tried what has been referred to as natural family planning or the Creighton method or NAPRO technology. For about a year.
Yep. A year.
No surgical intervention, but there was hormonal.
Stimulation, progesterone.
Hormonal balancing, I guess, is what they were trying to do. And then they were considering possibly referring us to someone who did use the acceptable surgical interventions within that method. And then we went back to the reproductive endocrinologist because insurance was telling us that coverage was running out.
Right.
And so we tried one more
IUI.
intrauterine insemination.
Yeah.
And that one went about as long as any other one. It tortured us the most for about 10 to 12 weeks looking for
a heartbeat.
Our goal.
Right.
And then it didn't develop, but then it wouldn't go away on its own either.
Right.
Which just made everything worse.
Worse, yeah. But I didn't want to do another DNC because I didn't want to do that to my body. So that's when I had been going to a chiropractor for all these years, and he had met Jenny, Dr. Mercier, and he had told me about her, but I had never gone to her, even though I knew about her. And so I finally said, remember that doctor you told me about? And he said, yes. And he said, I said, I need her name because I need to go to her. And that's when we met Jenny. So, And we went to Jenny, and Jenny performed her, did her massages on me, and they were great. It was a good time, good relaxing time, even though it was painful at the beginning. Not very painful, just uncomfortable. I wouldn't say painful, I would say uncomfortable. But then it felt like another massage, so it was good. And
but then it kick-started your body to do what it was supposed to do.
Yep. And she told us about Dr. Benor, her fertility specialist that she used with her
Reproductive
patients.
endocrinologist.
Yes. And we went to him. And he was very thorough. He did a lot of blood work. And I wish I had gone to him from the beginning, because if I would have gone to him, we would have known that it wasn't that I had bad eggs. It wasn't that my body was rejecting. It was that my body did not absorb folic acid, and I was insulin resistant. So he found out.
And it was a blood flow thing.
And it was a blood flow thing. So he told me, definitely, do your treatment with Jenny. When you're done with your treatment with Jenny, come to me. He gave me what I thought was called like a synthetic folic acid, a prescribed folic acid prenatal vitamin. And he gave me metformin. Mm-hmm. And our first try with Dr. Benor, after doing the procedures with Jenny and him, we got pregnant. And it was kind of a touchy moment, because we got to 6 weeks and there was no heartbeat yet, or we couldn't hear it. But we finally, at around 10 or 12, right? What was it? It was longer than the usual. It was longer than the usual.
It was closer to 8.
Yeah.
But
it was longer than usual. We had to do a special.
Couldn't do anything the easy way.
Yeah, it had to be. So, but.
Follistim and HCG and timing everything. Mm-hmm. And then we still were holding our breath for a while.
Right. The good thing was we didn't have to do IUI. We didn't have to do IVF. It was timed intercourse. After we did our shots and the metformin and the triggered HCG, we had the.
Then we were on a schedule. Yes.
Yes, and then we were on a schedule.
So much fun.
Yeah, but it worked. And we have a beautiful child. He's 2.5 years old now. We might bring him in here in a minute, but no health issues. I had him at the age of 46. So, you're always holding your breath because of age, and with Down syndrome, possible birth defects and things. So we got very blessed, and we have I want to say perfect child, but every mom says that about their kids. So, but no health issues, which is a blessing. So,
and that's our story.
Yeah, that's our story. Augusto, you want to come here?
Ven para acá.
Come here. Ven acá un momento. Toma.
Augusto.
Well, he's not coming. We'll pan. He's watching a video right now, so we'll pan into him. There you go.
Mom and Dad are far less interesting than whatever's on the tablet.
And that's our story.